S.W.Frost 1 is now live. Streaming games plus demos,
We'll look
by
at
the tea and
Hogwarts.
biscuits.
Oh, damn son. Looking my whole life with these words. This song. Killing me softly with these words. Killing me softly with this song. Taking my whole Killing me softly with this song. Killing me softly with this song. Taking my whole life with this song. Killing me softly with this song.
I'm a setting sun, but I'll never run. I'm a dead man walking. I'll stay and fight as long as I'm alive. I'm a dead man walking. Oh, I'm a dead man walking. Before I die, take every soul I can into the night. Kill till I die. Kill till I laying in the crowd, gonna burn it down. I'm a dead man walking. Oh, I'm a dead man walking. Hell's at my door, I'm a shadow man I was before. I'm a dead man walking. Before I die, I'll take every soul I can into the light. Kill till I die.
01 Ella. Welcome to my channel.
Well, here goes another game. Oh, 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 oh. Oh Lord, please don't let me be misunderstood. Thank you. How did that happen?
Legacy review, and then I'll do the little quiz and we'll play the game, okay, guys?
Levioso. A levitation charm?
Levioso!
Like many, I've been waiting for a truly excellent Harry Potter game since I was in the 3rd grade. There have been some decent attempts, but none that come close to truly fulfilling the fate.
I mean, that one... I mean, that's, you know... Man. Not too good.
Fantasy of receiving your own Hogwarts admission letter. With Hogwarts Legacy, I'm happy to say that magic has finally been captured.
Okay.
Its open world map absolutely nails the vibe of Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. It has spellcasting combat that's stupefyingly good, the characters that inhabit it are charming and unforgettable, and it is positively brimming with countless diversions to soak up dozens of hours of your time.
So it's
It may not be the most impressive technical achievement, and it is certainly cursed with a lack of enemy variety, but none of Hogwarts Legacy's issues can cast a descendo charm on this triumphant visit to the wizarding world.
Okay. Let's see the review then. Here we go.
Right in line with most Harry Potter tales before it, Legacy's plot has more holes than a fishnet stocking, and sorta just expects you to accept that its magical world makes no sense.
Well, I think that Harry Potter, like, one of the things with it is that there's been so many games and, like, secondary media created behind it that I bet there's, like, a massive amount of, like, plot holes and, like, inconsistencies with it. It's like WoW, for example, because it's just been around for so long and developed for so long. So you just kind of have to accept it, and it is what it is.
Mystical action-adventure RPG begins with you transferring to Hogwarts as a 5th year for unexplained reasons, to do everything from attending classes to fighting giant spiders. The fantastic character creator has plenty of options for you to craft your ideal witch or wizard, and as soon as you do, they'll immediately become entangled in a conflict between the wizarding world and an evil goblin. On top of that, because being in a secret society of wizards is apparently not exciting enough, you soon discover that you've got some freaky supercharged magical abilities that allow you to do extra cool stuff that also isn't really explained.
Badass. Holy
if you're
shit.
like me, you'll roll your eyes while 100 years worth of dead characters lecture you from paintings about the important history and how you have to save the world or whatever. But once that's over with, Legacy mostly redeems itself with a fantastic cast of non-painting characters that help boil things down into a not too convoluted good guys versus bad guys conflict that ends up being a largely enjoyable tale.
I think it's totally fine to just have like a simple story like this, especially with Harry Potter. That's kind of what I expected.
I am afraid it is too late to study now.
You'll spend most of your time with the classmates who befriend you on campus, accompany you on certain quests, and help you hone your abilities as a magic user. Most are memorable and instantly endearing, like Sebastian, the cocky and morally pliable Slytherin.
Good for getting places you're not supposed to be.
Or Notsai, the clever and unflappable Gryffindor.
I had it all under control.
Spending time with them and improving my social links through the relationship quest lines made my stay at Hogwarts all the more enjoyable.
That's
Unexpectedly, I even found myself looking forward to hanging out with my professors, whether it was my main man, Professor Fig, who serves as both something of a mentor and as a sidekick, or the wisecracking charms teacher,
Welcome to
Professor
my
Rowan,
channel.
who made me love him
Drafts
mostly
Nat.
by making fun of me.
Welcome to my channel.
You'll spend your holidays practicing Obliviate on one another.
Each of these characters feels like an indispensable piece of the school, and you can find them wandering the halls doing their thing and choose to spend time with your favorites.
I think
it's
the character
a huge
models
and
look pretty
important
good.
part of the Hogwarts fantasy that Legacy knocks out of the park. Even better, though, is the world itself. which is packed
that a
with
clown?
nearly everything I wanted in a Potter game and more.
What the fuck?
You'll find yourself wandering Hogwarts' stone-cobbled halls and secret passageways, flying around the Forbidden Forest on a broomstick, and exploring dark caves lit only by the glow of your Lumos spell. The developers at Avalanche have so brilliantly captured the look and feel of the wizarding
that's
world
so
that I was
badass.
amazed at just being there, no matter what trivial errand I was wrapped up in. That immersion could occasionally be broken by Legacy's dicey performance during my time playing on PlayStation 5, though. That includes frame rate
PlayStation 5.
inconsistency, weird lighting issues, aggressive pop-in while moving around quickly, and more. There's even this weird thing where every door in Hogwarts has a brief loading screen. It's understandable since
That
there's
kinda
so
makes
much
sense.
packed into this beast of an adventure, but the PS5's promises of the death of loading screens haven't quite been lived up to here.
No, I don't think so.
As someone who
Sorry,
finds
guys, I gotta use the bathroom. I just ate a really big hot dog before I started the stream, so I'll be back in like 2 minutes, okay? Okay, let's do it.
the wand-whipping fights in the movies fairly dull, I was very concerned that Hogwarts Legacy's spell-slinging combat wouldn't be able to hold my attention across the roughly 32 hours it took me to beat the campaign.
32 hours,
but
okay.
I can admit when I'm wrong. The combat is fantastic, challenging, and utterly captivating. There's a lot more to it than shooting balls of light out of a stick. Instead, the trick is in dodging and countering enemy attacks while pulling off.
But, I mean, that is effectively what it comes down to, though, right? You are ultimately shooting balls of light through a stick. I mean, I think that pretty much settles it.
Creative combos.
Yeah.
For example, you can pull enemies toward you with
Right.
Accio, light them on fire with the close-range Incendio, then blow them away with the explosive Bombarda spell.
Okay.
Chaining together abilities to make your opponents look like complete
Oh,
fools
damn.
never stops being amusing. Especially as you unlock talent tree perks that enhance your skills with modifiers that make your elemental spells fork to nearby
I
enemies.
still think this game, like what they should have had in the game, maybe they do this as DLC, is a gigantic fucking two-handed moonlight greatsword that's like a wand at the same time and it can shoot lightning. Like, that'd be fucking badass, right? Yeah. Uh-huh.
Enemies or transform into AoE attacks. Many of the combat encounters are legitimately challenging too.
We'll
I'll
see about
admit I
that.
died my fair share of times while trying to show off a new set of spells or by neglecting to see a goblin sneaking up behind me. Improving your skills and figuring out which spells work best for you is a really entertaining process, filled with experimentation and the occasional maiming. There's even a perfect parry mechanic, which
That's
begs
nice.
to be mastered by tryhards like me looking for that extra dopamine hit that comes from a timely block at the last possible second. You'll also be forced to change up your tactics regularly, since many enemies have color-coded shields that can only be broken by spells of a particular type. For example, enemies with a red shield won't be damaged until you hit them with a fire-based spell,
Okay,
which
that
means
makes
you'll need to
sense.
keep a few of those handy. While the combat system never stops being entertaining, the creatures you fight do run out of tricks up their sleeves. You'll see the same familiar faces a lot, as you spend an enormous amount of your time fighting dark wizards.
This is one question that I have, is like, it seems like most of the combat, bro, is like you throw them up in the air and you doing like this, right? Like, I don't mean to do it with this one, but we're gonna have to do it. You doing like this. Oh my God, I almost knocked something off. Shit! Never mind, it didn't spill. Like, you know, you're bunching them around. You're like, oh, and that's it. And then they're done. Maybe. So, like, I wonder how that's gonna expand. If that's gonna be interesting or not. We're gonna find out.
Spiders, and goblins. Every once in a while, they'll trot out a troll enemy or nondescript magical suit of armor
that's
as well,
cool.
but the enemy's legacy throws at you can wear thin pretty quick.
Dwell for a spell. What the fuck does that mean?
When you're not lighting spiders on fire, you'll need some lighter activities to spend your time with. And it's actually kind of crazy just how many side tasks Legacy gives you.
Let's see
You
it.
could spend hours decorating your very own personal
Dude,
space
let's
and
go.
out of requirement, go around catching, grooming, and breeding all manner of fantastic beasts,
We'll do
if
that.
you know where to find them, practice your gardening or potion making, go shopping in Hogsmeade, become a champion
Making
duelist and an
dildos.
underground underground dueling ring with your classmates, or even go full Voldemort and decide you want to become a master of the dark arts by learning the killing curse and other unspeakable acts, which goes about as well as you'd expect if you choose to pursue it.
Naughty, naughty, you'll get caught.
It's not just easy to waste hours goofing off. I found it downright difficult to not get distracted by a dozen things and forget what I'd originally set out to do. One of the ways you can completely forget about the looming goblin threat in the main story is by engaging in the over 100 side quests that are packed into the adventure. Not all of these diversions are equally entertaining. Some are definitely your basic go here and kill or collect this thing errands that do little more than burn some time. But many feature one of the aforementioned awesome characters, asking you to solve their problems or help them get into some good old-fashioned mischief.
Meet me outside the library tonight. And tell no one.
It also helps that you're often appropriately rewarded for your efforts, whether that's earning some gear to upgrade your stats, cosmetic items to improve your swagger, or best of all, new spells. The ultimate carrot in a game where you're often limited only by what magic you know how to cast.
Yeah, I guess so.
For example, one side quest gives you the Alohomora spell, which in classic Metroidvania fashion allows you to literally unlock doors and get into places previously inaccessible to you.
Oh, that's badass.
Collecting spells goes a long way to opening up the map and giving you a better bag of tricks during combat. And I found myself positively thirsting for as many of these game-changing abilities as I could get my grubby paws on. The gear that you'll find doesn't really allow you to create full-on builds per se, but you'll gain some resistances and buffs to your character and can spend some time upgrading and modifying your best items.
So it probably doesn't fucking matter.
None of it is particularly game-changing stuff, but it managed to capture my attention enough.
I mean, you gotta keep in mind, this is not Elden Ring. Okay, like it's not Elden Ring. Like it's a Harry Potter game. It's a good Harry Potter game, it seems, but it is just a Harry Potter game.
I spent a good chunk of my time looking at my equipment. Of course, the real root game is about the cosmetics, a fact that Legacy seems to be keenly aware of since they find ways to hide cool-looking clothes all over the place. These items don't have any gameplay impact, but picking out my Slytherin legend to outshine all.
Yo, why is this straw hat legendary? Yo, like, doesn't that make, like, that doesn't really fucking make sense, right? I mean, like, how the fuck you gonna have a straw hat that's legendary? Luffy? Luffy from, oh, yeah, that's the guy with, like, the Hawaiian shirt, right? I never watched
the lesser houses is more than enough of a motivation. Best of all, you can overwrite the appearance of any gear you've got equipped with a look of anything you've acquired so far, which is just fantastic.
Right here, Buster.
In nearly every way, Hogwarts Legacy is the Harry Potter RPG I've always wanted to play. Its open-world adventure captures all the excitement and wonder of the Wizarding world with its memorable new characters, challenging and nuanced combat, and a wonderfully executed Hogwarts student fantasy that kept me well, actually, glued to my controller for dozens of hours. It's certainly weighed down by technical issues, an unexciting but inoffensive main story, and slim enemy variety. But even those couldn't come close to breaking the enchanting spell it cast on me. For more, check out our reviews of Hi-Fi Rush and SpongeBob SquarePants The Cosmic Shake. And for everything else, stick with IGN.
Okay, I will stick with IGN, guys. Let me link you guys a video, alright?
Come here.
There you go. SpongeBob SquarePants. Yeah, it's nice. 9, really? I think the game, like, what my assumption, actually, I don't want to tell you guys what I think I'll rate it, but I think what will make it an 11 is online servers that function the same way as GTA RP. That will make this game lit.
Give me some love right here. I call for the mule.
Radio Ebola. Welcome to my channel.
Molly carries minerals,
Hello.
and we shoot bugs in mine. Dwarf life in a nutshell. That buzzing was getting on my nerves. Move your tin ass over here and hurry, please.
Oh, anyway.
Wolf inbound.
I hear a rockin' stone. For rockin' stone!
A true warrior needs no sword. The iconic words spoken by the ex-Viking soldier Thor, as he tosses aside his only weapon in midst of a battle with a group of mercenaries.
Welcome.
As a young child, Thorfinn watched his father be pelted with arrows and die, as he threw away his one last chance of survival, trying to idealistically find a better way than to continue the cycle of violence he had known his entire life. But how was this any better? Thorfinn wound up devoting his entire life to vengeance in the pursuit of killing Askeladd for what had happened, pushing the words of Thor to the back of his consciousness and only letting the rage and hatred guide him forward. But this is what the viewers wanted to see, right? It's a lot more fun to read a story filled with intense action and violence than it is to watch a man trying to live passively through life and working on a farm. Or is it? When asked about Vinland Saga in interviews, Makoto Yukimura once said that he wanted to find a way to create a protagonist that didn't go out looking for fights and didn't base his value on the fights that he had won. Instead, he wanted to create a character that actively tried to find a way to solve his problems without needing to fight. But to set the story in the Viking Age, an age where it was one of the most primal and violent times in human history, and also constantly challenging that character's identity by increasingly putting him in situations to where he would need to overcome it without making it about the fights, but also making Thorfinn not a coward, but a warrior. The irony is that the art of fighting without fighting cannot be achieved by somebody who is a complete pacifist. Without the knowledge of what strength in battle is, one would be incapable of having the bravery to stand before someone and refuse to engage. What I mean is, to grasp the full understanding of a fight, you have to have fought. Experience trumps knowledge that is learned vicariously. The genius of Thorfinn's character is that he had to hit extraordinary lows in order to come to the current philosophies that he has. There is a difference between someone running away from a fight that is a coward, and somebody running away as a strategic measure to ensure his own survival and the survival of his opponent. Thorfinn is not running away from war, but rising above what the idea of war is. Thorfinn's philosophy comes from a mixture of what his father had told him as a child, but also from what his life experiences had built within him. Spoilers, by the way, from here on out for anybody that has not read the manga, but Thorfinn is robbed of his chance of revenge, and he is taken away and sold into slavery, and as such he effectively sees the dark bottom of the two polar ends of the human experience. His entire youth he spent in war, watching grown men kill, rob, and sexually abuse those that they conquered, and those that had no chance of fighting back. He gained a full understanding of what violence truly is, and what that is the ultimate ruling force in the world. Violence is what every human, every animal, every living thing understands. You don't mess with something that's bigger or stronger than you. The threat of violence can keep men good or keep them in fear. When a force is greater than you, you have no choice but to comply to it if it threatens violence. But by increasing his skills and learning within this kill or be killed environment, Thorfinn himself becomes a vicious fighter and killer, detaching himself from any kind of natural human empathy and learning what these kinds of men must become in order to do the things that they do. Afterwards, as a slave, Thorfinn experienced the other end of the spectrum, switching from the oppressor to the oppressed, feeling as though his life's purpose was gone and there was no point for him to continue to live. Thorfinn became an empty shell, but it was here, during the slave arc of the series, where Thorfinn began to understand what his father meant when he spoke of the plight of the true warrior. It was a combination between the haunting nightmare visions of those who he had slain without purpose or mercy, combined with the symbolism of what it means to be a farmer, to plant food, to create something as opposed to destroying it, how much harder it is to build than it is to tear down. that a sense of accomplishment that comes with growing life will always trump that of taking a life away. In understanding how people should not be living in order to just be subjugated and pushed underfoot by those that are stronger than them. But weak people must still become strong, and the strong then have a responsibility to make life better than it was before, to use their strength and experience to provide a better future rather than continuously trying to avenge the past. In my humble opinion, as all my videos are, only just my opinion, but the very fact that Thorfinn was able to experience and understand what war and slavery were, from being fully immersed and forced into both of them, is exactly why he is the perfect person for dedicating his life to creating a world without war and without slavery. I think knowing how to fight is incredibly important. I would say it's an absolute necessity. You have to be able to defend yourself, and it's even better to be able to defend the ones that you love. Violence will not disappear, so knowing how to enact violence is something you need to have in your arsenal. But a true warrior's battle is not to battle, because that's the baseline. That's what you should already know. A true warrior's battle is trying to find a solution without fighting. The truth is that an egoic sense of self-righteousness is dangerous. You know where the most amount of egos live is in graveyards and hospitals, and in the Viking Age, I doubt they had very good medical care. With the knowledge and skill of combat in his back pocket, a true warrior then has the responsibility to overcome and use it only as a last resort. As violence is something that should be used as a measure of protection and defense, those often overuse and pedestalize the very idea of it, fantasizing about being the greatest warrior of all time. Taking down all of your enemies, the desire to lash out physically is biologically embedded within men, because it's necessary for survival. We need to be able to be vicious in order to ensure the protection of our homestead, or kill an animal for food, for all these survival purposes. There's a reason it exists within us, and that drive exists within all of us penis-having folk, where some part of us really does want to fight. But I think the transition between being a child and being an adult is recognizing the realities of that fighting, of what that violence amounts to. No longer is it an embellished fantasy, but it becomes a grim reality the way that you see it. And it is here that that shift should happen. But when dealing with the setting of Vinland Saga, we are in an age where the very gods that these men follow not only continue that embellishment, but encourage that they die fighting and will be rewarded in Valhalla for it. Now, this goes into a whole other aspect involving religion and its dangers when you believe that you have divine authority on your side. Stuff like this still persists today, but one of my favorite scenes in the entire manga is a chapter that takes place within the thoughts of an unnamed Viking soldier as he is bleeding out and about to die on the battlefield, spending his whole life fighting and believing in this reward of the afterlife, only to realize as he lies here, things are only getting darker and darker. No bright shining light is coming to gather him. No gods or Valkyries are descending upon him. No praise is being given to him. He only has the darkness. And as he wishes to warn his fellow soldiers, he can no longer speak, drifting further into the void of death. Realizing the futility of it all, when the answer on the other side is pure nothingness. And perhaps it might be hypocritical to say, in order to rise above violence, you must understand violence. That you must know how to fight in order to find a way to properly overcome fighting. But that is the very nature of life, I feel. If you analyze your own life or anybody else's, you will find that it is full of contradictions all of the way through. It's not about consistency as much as it's about growth and learning over time. But here's the major problem, and the thing that I actively disagree with Thorfinn about. But despite my disagreement, I still respect him fully as a character. See, currently in the manga, on the trip to Finland to establish a new community free from war and slavery, Thorfinn has refused to bring any weapons with him, meaning he and his loved ones would be at the mercy of any natives that wanted to attack him. Thorfinn believing that he can find that other way, that he can communicate and form an understanding without fighting his true warrior's battle. The issue lies in, no matter how honorable and understanding that you might be as a person, someone else may not be. It doesn't matter how bad you don't want to fight, that won't stop somebody else from attacking you. You still have to expect that someday, somebody might try to break into your home and harm you or your loved ones. There is evil in the world, and those that embrace the savagery will want violence. Thorfinn believes that simply having weapons instills a belief that there is an incentive to use them, whereas having none leaves you vulnerable. It's the moral conundrum of the entire manga, beautifully and very simply expressed within this current arc, and I want Thorfinn to be right, but I know in my heart that he has pushed the line into becoming a bit foolish. But even though I disagree with him currently, I'm still rooting for him. I truly believe that there is a time and place for fighting, but I also agree that as an experienced fighter, finding solutions around it is a much harder and much more noble battle than the physical battle itself, and that creating is more difficult than destroying. It takes longer, it requires more knowledge, and is far more important for the progression of life and that hope of peace. Thorfinn exemplifies the meaning of a true warrior needs no sword, and has gone those extra steps further than his father Thor's ever had. There may be a time that combat is necessary, but until that point, I want to see what Thorfinn can accomplish by the end of the Vinland Saga. And if he too is destined to crash and burn like Thor's, he can still die proud knowing that he spent as much of his life as he could working towards his ultimate goal and not standing down in the face of these unstoppable odds. But anyways guys, that has been my little analysis on Thorfinn's character and some of the themes of Vinland Saga. What do you think about Thorfinn's journey and his current philosophy? Please put all that in the comments below. Also, be sure to like and comment on the video because it does help in the algorithm. I would really appreciate it if you did. And if you'd like to support the channel on that deeper level, check out my Patreon and merch store in the description below, along with all my various social media links. Also, maybe subscribe to the channel because I'd love to have you back here for some more anime and manga discussions. But that's it for now, guys. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you next time.
Valentina Alcaraz. Welcome to my channel.
Well. Good job, fellas.
Assignment complete. Congratulations.
Oh my lord.
You looking for trouble, bud? I got plenty to spare, so watch your ass around me.
Hey, Vinny, is that you? Oh, I see. You're just some guy who's pretending to be hot shit. All right, let's go ahead and break this dude down psychologically, huh?
Hey, fuck you! I didn't say nothing about using psycho!
All right, well, let's just go ahead and assume that my instincts about you are wrong. Let's go ahead and run through a little scenario here, you and me, all right? Let's say we're out there on the old dusty trail, and you run out of whatever it is that's making you so goddamn hostile, right? And then you start the withdrawal, and we're already at the point of no return. There ain't no going back, and I'm gonna tell you right now, these tribals, they ain't got the ability to make whatever it is you're taking. Think about that for a minute, man. I hear the withdrawal is bad, bro. We're talking about like ants crawling out of your skin. Crazy shit like that. You really want to deal with that in the desert?
God damn it! I didn't say nothing about using psycho. But, just talking hypno-theoretically here. Got any suggestions?
Well, theoretically, I would suggest you get the hell out of here before the withdrawal sets in and you start vomiting out of both of your holes, and I gotta get my friend Vinny to figure out a way to plug one of them.
Fine. You win, asshole. Enjoy leading the expedition into a fucking ambush. Hope you all die.
Whoa, hang on.
God damn it, ambush! Cover people!
Was that dude Ricky a psychic?
I pray for the safety of all good people who come to Zion. But we can't expect God to do all the work.
Fallout New Vegas got a total of 4 DLCs. These DLCs are often rated by fans as varying in early
accident. No fun there, let me tell you. The lines are so long.
So would you like a dance?
Yeah.
But. Ooh, that's my song.
Do you guys see that?
Yeah, she just offered you lap dance.
Sure did. That has never happened to me before. Why doesn't that happen at like normal nightclubs and bars? That girl was really into me. He's joking. Couple of small.
You're back.
Take your time.
That's tough.
How do we tell you? But I can. I'm in a relationship, and these guys hate women. Do you guys accept food stamps? I don't think you do.
Bye, broke bigots.
Broke bigots. Love you, girls. I'll catch up with y'all.
Yo, what? It's the classic ATM back rub, man. It's a tale as old as time.
Yep. Does this ATM have a fee?
No, not at all.
Oh, okay, cool. Because even if it did, I wouldn't care. What's $3.50 to a guy like me?
What's your PIN number?
It's just my birthday, 11/23.
3 big kahunas. Took out your whole life savings.
I found my freaking soulmate, okay?
Shut up.
Shut up. Death do us part. I'm going to meet her father one day.
Yeah.
And he's
Shut your
gonna
mouth.
look at me and say, you know what? I accept you as my own son. Get off the stage. Boy, I can't thank you enough for hosting me this weekend, Mr. Sparkle.
I'm just glad my daughter, who worked so hard to be a doctor, finally found a man she loves.
I'm happy too, Mr. Sparkle. I'm happy too.
Hey, I got accepted! Harvard Med School! I did it!
Oh, baby, I'm so proud of you.
I love you, son.
So long, Pa. Touchdown. So none of it was real? So.
Okay, that'll be $5,000.
So none of it was real?
You did the full VIP daddy-daughter experience.
Wait, what?
Fair enough. I did pay you till 4 though, so it's 2:30.
Ah, man. We all got what we deserved. Same goes for Guy. Pink into them.
Mission selected. Powering up the drop pod. Get on board, team.
The truth is out there, so is the gold.
level of quality, with many people saying that Dead Money is dumb and should take some night school classes to study up for his GED. But honestly, I like all these DLCs for one reason or another, and I think it's reductive to say that one is bad while the other is no bee's knees. Each of these DLCs has something to praise it for, as well as something to criticize. But where to start? I think you should start with what did well and what people regard comedy as good. That way I can lull you into a false sense of comfort as you nod your head in agreement with me until suddenly, out of nowhere, you find yourself challenged by my opinions while your guard is down. Let's start with Honest Hearts, which is one that I hear people talk about mainly because of the big star of the show, Joshua Graham, but you might know him better as the Burn Man. So let's dig in, shall we?
Joshua says they were scouts, but they looked awful small to me.
I want to preface this with my opinion. Is this DLC any good? Well, I may have a divergent opinion on this, but I think it's just okay. If there are pillars holding this thing up, it's the map, the writing, and the voice acting, but the fourth pillar, content, just sort of leaves the whole thing wobbling back and forth because if you follow the main storyline, which you likely will, you'll notice that this DLC is pretty much over before it even began. I always follow the main story through because Graham is so charismatic and his voice is so sultry that I need to know more about him, and the game gates information behind progression. So if you want to know more, you gotta progress the story, but even if you do that, the DLC is over and there's nothing left to find out. The DLC is lean as hell. But what is there is very good, but like I said, there's just not a lot of it to consume, and that really holds the whole thing back because the base game spends a significant amount of time building up Joshua Graham only to have him retreat back into the shadows before we've even had enough time to spend with him, and that's a testament to the writing here that we want to know more about him because his writing is so good. But when the game ends, that's it. There's no conversation at the end that wraps everything up, just the typical Fallout-esque ending where a narrator tells you everything that happened before, but I can't help but feel put off by the fact that I never got to talk to Daniel at the end. It just feels like there's bits that are missing. There is a somewhat ephemeral feeling about Honest Hearts. I remember playing it back when it came out. I remember the Burn Man being an interesting character and overall liking the DLC mainly because it expanded on the lore of the world in a very meaningful way. But after so many years after having played it for the first time, when I try to look back on it, I find that there's very little that's stuck in my mind. I think because Lonesome Road came out last with Old World Blues sort of coming out in between those two games, and those games feeling like kind of like a mindless distraction to me, I lost interest in waiting and I never played Lonesome Road. I had other things to do, apparently. So going back to revisit these games is a bit odd for me because my memories of Honest Heart are sketchy at best, and Lonesome Road never got played, so I have no idea what to expect with it. I always wondered why they interrupted the flow of Honest Hearts to Lonesome Road, so I looked up some details in regards to the development of these DLCs because, well, just look at this schedule. From the time of Fallout New Vegas' release to the release of Dead Money, there's a mere 2 months of time that passed between, while Honest Hearts released 5 months later. Then, just 2 months later, Old World Blues comes out, and 2 months after that, Lonesome Road comes out. So what's the deal with that? How the hell was Obsidian keeping up with that pace? It could have something to do with the team already having learned the creation engine and its tools, and at that point, the development process was so streamlined that they were able to rapid fire these DLCs out, or it could be that quite a bit of pre-production on these DLCs had already been done prior to Fallout New Vegas. I asked Sawyer what it was like working on these DLCs with that tight deadline, and he actually responded, which made me squeal. He said, there were 2 teams working concurrently in different phases, though various technical reasons made the schedule a little irregular. The Dead Money team spun up at the end of Core FNV, then the remainder of the Core team rolled off onto other projects including Honest Hearts. Then, as Honest Hearts was winding down, Old World Blues spun up. Lonesome Road was kind of the outlier since it was last, other than Gunrunner's Arsenal, which was very different overall, so not really comparable. So Dead Money overlapped Core,
Welcome to
Honest
my
Hearts
channel.
overlapped Dead Money, and Old World Blues overlapped Lonesome Road. And yeah, I don't really like the pace of content development and release, even if it's ideal for attachment, he says in air quotes, i.e. percentage of core players who buy the DLC. So what that might mean is that attachment might mean that you've just played the game and you're still hungry for more content. So they tried to release as much of these DLCs rapid fire as they could so that the attachment, as he says, would be much higher than if you would release them a year or a year and a half after the core game released. According to an article in PCGames.com, Fallout New Vegas' development was brutal, long hours, sleepless nights, but there was a feeling that this was a passion project for a lot of people on the team, because it was. Even since the cancellation of Van Buren, the remaining team had wanted to see the storylines they started there be carried out, and by all accounts, it seems like the DLC was the place to do that, as if the DLC had become a resurrection spell for these lost storylines and characters. Chris Avallone did the heavy lifting in writing the DLCs. Josh Sawyer said in an interview posted on steamit.com titled Interesting People Number 7, Sawyer talks about how he could go up to Avallone and say, hey, I want to make this DLC about Joshua Graham and Ulysses with Lonesome Road, and Avallone set about trying to find a way to tie it all together and make sense of things. The DLCs were designed to have hooks into the main game, where each entry expands on something that was only hinted at on the main story. Perhaps they were continuing story threads that got cut early so the game could ship on time. You got Father Elijah from the Brotherhood of Steel and Dead Money, Joshua Graham in Honest Hearts, and Ulysses in Lonesome Road. Each story is connected to the main story, so it never feels like the diversion that it actually is. All of it feels necessary to understanding the game as a whole. It came out at a time when games were just dumping their diaper out on digital storefronts and calling it DLC, so the way New Vegas did things became a model for some, especially with its success seemingly coming out of nowhere. Fans loved this game when it came out, and some reviewers did as well, but there were some who did not like Green Eggs and Ham, and they were going to tell us all about it. 1UP, which I am told is a video gaming website, wrote this about the game. If only it was a stable product and didn't ship with so many bugs, I would have given New Vegas a higher score. Game Cult gave the game a 7 out of 10, citing the lack of artistic ambition and tech issues as the reason. Oof. Game Zone said that despite the fan service, New Vegas was a big pile of bugs. Eesh. And you know what happened to these articles? They all just sort of disappeared. I wonder if the fan pressure caused this, or if someone over there, oh no, wait, Game Zone stopped publishing articles, Gamer Cult is in some weird arcane language that no one speaks, and 1UP hasn't been a thing for years, so, coincidence? Probably, but it's funnier to say it was because of bad takes. Fans, however, have kept this game alive with expansion-sized mods, and this over 10-year-old game is still an obsession of many man-children such as myself, much to the dismay, I'm willing to bet, of Josh Sawyer, who no longer wants to field our questions about New Vegas because we've grown to become that which every fandom hates: Trekkies. In this US Gamer article titled The Making of Fallout New Vegas, how Obsidian's underrated sequel became a beloved classic by Kat Bailey, Josh Sawyer is quoted as saying,
I think that both Chris and I wanted to explore specific ideas that were risky within the main game, but were less risky within a DLC, Sawyer remembers. Like in the first DLC, a big focus was on the feeling of survival, and feeling really desperate, and almost like a horror vibe, and so Dead Money had that focus, which, it would feel weird if you designed even maybe a big Fallout New Vegas level around that. But as a DLC, it felt like, oh, cool. This is my trip to a horror realm.
So by the author's own admission, each DLC was supposed to be a sort of self-contained experience, like a bite-sized game within a game, which admittedly, Dead Money feels that way, and Old World Blues as well, but Honest Hearts feels different, like it's more of a natural continuation of what Fallout New Vegas did in a lot of ways, and it feels more like an expansion and than what is often attributed to other DLCs. The question is, why does Honest Hearts stand out amidst the crowd? I could ramble on for hours about why this DLC is so good, but I thought I would categorize my thoughts here for easy consumption. First, let's talk about the story, which plays a large role in the DLC's success.
Looking to join this caravan, huh? Look to me like you can handle yourself.
Everybody's got their reason for doing dangerous things, even this lady.
Earning my keep. Jed hired me on as a caravan guard for this expedition of his. The work suits me. I've tried staying put in one place, but it never works out.
And because she's the rambling sort, getting around a lot, seeing a lot of different things, she knows a lot of stuff about a lot of stuff. So ask her some questions.
Place lived up to its name, that's for sure. When you got fresh water and a trickle of geothermic power, always be some gang of assholes wants to kill you for it. Spent more years and took more bullets than I care to admit protecting that hellhole from dangers within and without. If it wasn't the 80s or the white legs raiding, it was someone from town drunk off his ass trying to win an argument with a shotgun.
And you know what? This isn't the first time I've heard about these 80s. Who are they exactly?
Bunch of them swept into town and dragged off 2 working girls. Deputies and me gave pursuit, straight into 80s territory. By the time we caught up with the girls, there wasn't much left of them, so we turned for home. Made it back to Caliente without further losses, but we was watched the whole way. Never seen so few people cover so much land. Goddamn creepy. If the 80s had wanted to kill us, we would have been dead. Guess they figured we weren't worth the trouble.
If you keep asking questions, you find out that the white legs here are a result of the NCR troopers coming and absorbing the Arizona Rangers. See, what happens is that the Desert Rangers used to keep the white legs in check, but not anymore.
Welcome to
now
my
that
channel.
They're not here, they're all over the place, and they've basically taken over this part of the desert. So it's time to get started. So we go over to Mr. Dude over here with his overalls, and we ask him if we can get started. But before we could do that, see, we gotta lose some dead weight, including our companions, and probably about...
I call for the view. A battery for the cargo crate. Whoopsie doopsie. Ooh. Cargo crate battery. We got a cargo crate here. That's it, lad. Rock and stone, rock brother. And stone. Need to get my pickaxe sharpened when we get back. Nope, the flares are recharging.
At this rate, I'll pop soon.
I gotta watch the overheating.
Ready to blow.
Stop shooting! We can hack the patrol bot now. I blame my stumpy fingers. And hack! Takes years of practice to get this stone to the bone. Flares ain't ready. Bambo!
Swarm detected. Light him up, miners.
About like 200 pounds of stuff that's in your backpack.
The paths we're following are slow going, so you might as well keep your ears open and listen to what old Jed has to say. A few decades back, folks in the NCR started to hear about a community in northern Utah called New Canaan. Didn't know much about them, except that they were religious folks, sent out missionaries to talk to the tribes. Turns out Caesar's first warship, the Malpace Legate, was a New Canaanite, Joshua Gray. Maybe the Malpace Legate is dead. Or maybe Joshua Graham did crawl out of that canyon and finally found his way back home. All right, people. Been a long couple of weeks, but here we are. Zion. I know your feet hurt. I know you're tired, but I need everyone's mind on the trail ahead.
Ain't the trail ahead worries me, Jed. Those descents we made through that slot canyon back up there. Ain't no way we're getting back out the way we come. And then what?
God damn it, Stella heard you the first time. And the 15th, too. The New Canaanites will know a way. And if they don't, we've got the maps on our friend's pit boy over there. Enough lollygagging. Get moving. And keep an eye out for tribals.
Sorry to bother you with reality, old Jed. Who cares if we can't get back out the way we come? That's not a problem.
Sawyer was quoted as saying that the underlying game, meaning the Bethesda part of Fallout, made enemy scaling hard to balance, so it was possible to outlevel all this content by the time you got to level 20, which is the DLC's recommended level requirement. And they're right, it's a concern because this game's combat in general is pretty easy, especially when you're able to one-shot people with spiked knuckles. But this DLC did do some pretty interesting things with its level design that helps set it apart, and as a result, keeps some of its intended difficulty intact, especially with the Yaoguais. Anyways, if you continue on, you'll meet Short Round, or as the game likes to call him, Follows Chalk, and he straight up execution styles this white legs bitch in the back of the dome.
Hoy, white legs don't leave survivors often. You're some kind of lucky, let me tell you.
Next the blind will see and the lame will walk.
You came from outside, didn't you? From the civilized lands. Wow. Joshua will want to hear about this. Joshua Graham. He leads our tribe. Thanks to him, the dead horses are strong and safe from our enemies. He'll want to talk to anyone coming up from Southways. Guess that means just you now. Come, I can take you to him.
So we follow Short Round into a winding canyon that terminates into a dead end in a flooded basin area with a bunch more tribals. And the thing that struck me here is that these guys are training themselves just like the Legion was in their fort, except these people didn't have any kids around, and if they did have them around, I'm pretty sure...
Igram neku dečju igru, gledam neki video o Fallout New Vegasu. Je li gotovo onaj Hunt event? Ja ga nisam, otkad sam skupio one poene za onih 50 levela onoga eventa, nisam palio igru uopšte. To je jedno 2 nedelje mislim, da sam palio igru. Pa jesi video sigurno one traitove gdje ono ljudi mogu sami sebe da revive-uju ili da možda hodaš pored zombija da ne mogu da te detektuju i tako te balansirane stvari. Pod znacima navoda. Oni su pod ugovorom.
Molly, over here. Getting closer to our quota. More kite.
3 days of this softy, 3 what? What's wrong? 3 days of this softy, 3 what? 3 what? 3 days of this softy, 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 3 what? 3 days of this sof
Da nisi možda probao onu kako se zove Humankind.
Ne, da igram DayZ.
DayZ?
Zato će da nas bude 10 mač.
A što ne onu recimo hrvatsku igru, kako se zove ono?
Pa skam, pa to što svi iskupovali.
Aha. I to sa društvom, ne? Ovo to je druga stvar.
Ja na skam imam oko 2000 sati.
2000 sati, baš sam tebe našao. Da pitam.
A, nisam ga igrao nešto u zadnje vreme. Tu se dosta izmenio.
Pa...
Pa i nemam neku volju.
To je igra koja je kao, kako bi ti rekao, u developmentu. Znači dosta stvari je ono podložno izmenama, tako da taman se ne vikneš na nešto. Oni kao developeri mogu da izmene šta hoće. To se ne sviđa nekad svim ljudima.
Developer upisali to radi. Uznao sam neke stvari, brate. Dođemo ja i američko i rusko tržište i oružje. Jebote. Ti si tamo gde je bivša Jugoslavija. Kurac mi staviš. M1 garant. Neki glupost.
Mogo si možda naći tamo u Hrvatskom primorju, šta ja znam. Možda 20-30 komada toga oružja, razumeš, kao i ono, u svakoj državi. Ali... ne. Ne verujem. Čisto sumnjam.
Baci, brate, ajde da po cijeli latin jug. Sviđa mi se. Volter, Doj, Hilux, Toyota, Range Rover. Onda onaj Chopper imaš, pa imaš kao Crossericu. A imaš mountain bike, imaš poniku. Avion pokrivac imaš.
Dobro, to ajde.
Nego da nas nije oni kakvi su Hrvati na JNA, brate, na Aleri. Ono, jebote napravi opremu, baci koji mi kurac ubacuješ. Američki šlem. Ne, treba da baciti brodi se.
Ne.
Mogu li mi?
Here, get into cover.
Ja znam da je radim to. Da sam mislim učio školu, da se nisam zajebavao. Ja bi napravio, brate, survival hiding simulator, brate. Nešto sa Turcima, da preživljavaš.
Pa ti imaš ti par timova u Srbiji koji ono rade na razvoju igara, ali nemaju ideje. Sidu, imaš, najbolja ideja mi je bila da naprave Scorn, ali taj Scorn je previše filozofska igra, razumeš, nigde veze nema ni sa...
Ne sviđa mi se uopšte.
A što nisu fino kao ljudi napravili animirani film ili napisali, ne znam, pesmu ili tako neku glupost, da su potrošili ljudima vreme da bi napravili filozofsku igru.
Pazi ti Frosti, brate, koliko mi našu istoriju i mitologiju imamo. Znaš ti koliko igrice mislimo? Što mode, što...
Možeš.
RPG, brate, što...
Možeš, roleplay u, ne znam, u 17. i 18. vek. Možeš. Između dve bune. korumpirano, ne znam, srpska aristokratija i Otomansko carstvo kao nekakva osvajačka crtica više civilizovana nacija u to doba nego što je Srbija primitivno bila. I onda ti kao igrač treba da balansiraš između da li želiš da ti Republika bude, da li želiš kao da sa separatistima da se odvojiš ili želiš da poboljšaš odnose. Ne para.
Eno ti Turci, na primjer, sa Mountain Blade.
Ozbiljno, to je turska igra.
Ne, Turska igra.
Nisam znao. U suštini...
Proveri.
Ne znam, kogod je to napravio dao ti je slobodu da biraš, da izabereš jedno kraljevstvo u tom periodu ili nijedno i da radiš za njih kao freelance, vitez nekakav.
Plaćeni.
Pa plaćeničku vojsku da imaš i da ideš okolo naokolo, da osvajaš i...
Da si igrao Bannerlord?
Bannerlord je Mountain Blade kao ekspanzija, ali tako nekako?
Nije, to je Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord. To ti je kao period 1081. Ali tačno možeš da vidiš, na primjer, po izgledu koji po izgledu. Sad ću da ti se Ovi na Mountain Blade najstariji više su mi se sviđali oklopi, brate, više oklopa imalo. Imaš onaj tevtonski jebote su ni rogovi u fullu, brate. Ali dobro, ovo je 1081.
Pa imao si leteće husare, na primjer, u to doba.
Ne, to si imao na Fire and Sword.
Ne, istorijski, nisam mislio.
Pa to je na Fire and Sword, to ti je ono Deluge u Poljsku, Potop u Poljsku i Smutno vreme u Rusiji. To je baš istorijski. Svi u Fire and Sword sve su istorijski bili. Svi, i Bogdana Hmelnickog, i Jana Skrižuckog, i onog Mihajla Romanova. Ove. Vidiš, ovo kao Imperija, to su ti kao Romeji. To su ti kao Romeji. Ali, kao na 3 dela da te niko Imperija promijeni. Evo su ti ovi Rusi. To vidiš.
Moment. Moram da odem malo tab i da stavim da te gledam. Sad može. Jedina stvar koju sam gledao od te igre, to je bila onaj, što sam gledao onoga Britanca, onoga streamera, youtubera, Spiffin Brita, on je koristi exploitove da ono...
Kal Raidija, Empire, to je u stvari Romejska imperija, Rimska imperija, Romejska. I ovdje podeljeni najoštriji, a to je stvarno istorijski, se podelilo posle ovaj četvrti krstaški rat na 3 države. A ti ovdje kao u kampanju ili ćeš da radiš, da osnuješ svoje kraljevstvo, ili ćeš kao da ujediniš ono, pod svojim banerom ili pod banerom.
Glasan samo što...
Evo ti ovi, ovo su ti na primjer ovi.
Što su operisani nazivi država?
Ovi su ti zapadne. Viš dole pišeš šta.
Jesu svi to... Da. A rekao su svi developeri toliko uplašeni da ne pišu, ne znam, realne nazive država ili... Da su škopljeni, šta?
A vi Sturgijac?
Kao što rekao. Kao što rekao. Da,
kao severnjaci i Rusi.
Jesi ti igrao kojim slučajem Knights of Honor?
Naravno da jesam.
Jest. Aj mi sad reci šta se promenilo u odnosu na igru staru 15-20 godina u odnosu na danas. Što niko nema muda šta da napravi politički korektnu igru. Ili nekorektnu.
A pazi ti, ekspanzija 1212 za Tila Total War. Hrvatska nije ni postojala u to vreme 1212. Bila deo Ugarskog kraljevstva. A tamo gde treba da bude Bosna, Banovina Bosna koja je bila nezavisna država, tu su stavili kao vazalnu državu Hrvatsku. Bullshit je. Evo ti Romej, Empire.
Možemo sad izmišljati stvari kakve nisu bile.
Ha. Uzaic osti, kao Mongoli i oni Selđuci.
A što ja sad to moram da tumačim, zar ne može neko da napravi mod za igru?
Mislim da ima. Ali ovi me najviše na nas podsjećaju.
To su kao Balkanci, šta li? Generalno Balkanski.
A nije kao nešto kelto-balkanski. Ajde, bez veze. Tu praviš karakter. Pohod koji izgleda nikog. Naravno žena.
Ta žena izgleda kao plastična lutka. Prosto. Ne bi da zakeram, ali...
Ja volim uvijek, brate. Nomadi, brate. Njihov način ratovanja i to. Tu dobijam dobri bonusi na konji, na lukovi sve. A ovi su ti najbolji kao trgovci. Ovi istočnjaci. Ovo su kao rat.
Pičku materinu, aj!
A gledaj što mi smešam, brate.
Konj, šta? Ili vitez?
Pa ne, ovaj lik, brate. Nosi mongolski šleva armor za paljače. Odlično, sad ću da novu.
Lighting up! At this rate, I'll pop soon! Rock and roll!
Ajde,
Drop pod has arrived. Retrieving the mule.
Yes, rimljeni su. Ajde.
Drop pod departing in T-minus 5 minutes.
That'll leave a mark.
Viš, ovi su ti kao neki forest people. To nešto kome.
It was just a knee wound.
Ajde ovi će. Starirao si.
Let's head for the drop pod.
Evo sad biraš šta su ti kao rovi.
Okay, stun sweeper.
Sa poreklo. Aha.
Have to wait for flare time. Oh no, that will let the moisture in.
I'm gonna need surgery.
Drop pod departing in T-minus 4
Sad
minutes.
ti zabere.
Yeah! Flares
O,
off.
kao mali si.
Let's get out of this building.
To ti isto da jesi tu.
This anyone that wants to get tree climbing halfwit. Squash 'em. Watch and learn. Centrica needs assembly. Rock and stone forever. Come and get me, you days.
The mule has docked. Initiating launch sequence.
For those about stone forever.
Extraction commencing. Good work.
Come on, guys. Rock and stone. Rock and stone in the heart. Rock on.
Dobar ti taj konj crni.
Job done.
Neko normalno.
Miloš. Mada, ako hoćeš tako ime, napišeš SH, a ne Miloč. To zvuči svakako.
Nema veze. Pa da ovdje stavim. Vjerotec.
Mission is ready. The pod is prepped. Get on board the drop pod.
Ima neko napravio koop iz modova, no može se igra.
Pa, napravili su i koop od Skyrima, to znaš, ili si čuo za to?
Nisi.
Skyrim, onaj, Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim. Neko je napravio koop mod.
Ej, sad ti počinješ ovo. Nećeš na trening jer ja neću. I sad si sreo nekog, dao umirućeg, dao ti neki deo od zastave. Sad ovdje biraš banje.
What would Carl choose?
Evo mi se sviđaš ti.
Može samo da stavi zastavu, šta? 90% zastava balkanskih zemalja ima nekakvu tečurinu na sebi. Je li to soko, je li je orao, je li je dva orla, dve glave. Toliko dosadno. Znači u životu nisam vidio. Oprosti. Ne kažem za tebe, nego generalno kažem za ljude koji su niđe veze nema. I onda gledaš one fantazijske serije. Ali možda staviš šta hoćeš. Možda staviš šta hoćeš. Ali, kažem, niko mašte nije imao, znaš. Ne znaš jesi li u Rusiji, jesi li u Srbiji i jesi li gde god, razumeš. Sve mu isto dođe.
Ej, sad si ja običan bed. Sad ništa. Ideš i radiš za njih. Dođeš do grada. Ups, čekaj, nisam.
Small _ Lola. Welcome to my channel. Hiwo.
Hello.
Time to light this shit up.
How is it going? Driller.
Tako se pravi. Ovaj mi već dosta ne bude.
Orbital insertion sequence initiated.
Jel ti to startaš?
Evo si pokazao kad praviš karakter.
So how is it going?
I bought Hogwarts Legacy. Surprised face.
So, did you create a witch? Or was the choice... Like, can you make a witch that looks like a handsome man, actually? Because there is like a lot of controversy about it. As far as the game goes, I think the game is good. But as far as the whole thing about Twitter and LGBT and anti-LGBT and whatever, that's so fun. So fun to read about. Yeah, I hope you're having fun with the game.
I don't really care. The game is good, yes.
Yep. I might buy game when it's cheap.
U igri uvijek...
To sin ili šta je to?
Ne, to mu je sestra, nađemo mlađi brat.
Imaš familiju?
Da, ovo je stari brat. A ovo su ti kompanjoni, oni što si ih unajmio.
My friend is playing Bannerlords, Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlords, and I'm watching it on second screen. Jel ti to... To je Jevrej, šta je to? Gledao sam ti banner na lećima.
Ne, ma zašto, to zvezda.
Aha, zvezda, crvena.
Bannerlord.
Yes.
I think I know that game.
Evo sad imaš, sad si kao klan, brat. Ti kao klan.
Yes.
Znači nisi ništa, odlično kao klan. I možda budeš vazal neki, hoćeš. Ili, na primjer, dođe ti poruka, pitate neko da ratuješ za nje. I plaće si.
Dobro. A sutra ratuješ protiv njih.
Ba da, onda kad dođeš do 4, onda možeš da kreneš da praviš svoj kraljevstvo. Onda ti dođe jedan Blatanijan, nudi ti kao da radiš
I still like Knights of Honor, because it's more historically accurate.
Ovaj grad ti dođe neka žena, neka Rimljanka i ona ti taj posao nudi samo da radiš.
It's a Mountain Blade, like a medieval mercenary simulation. You are a mercenary that works for another country, and you take in the money to pillage or to help other people.
Onda te pitaju koju ćeš kulturu od ovih naroda.
A dobro, ako ti da bi imao svoje kraljestvo ili svoju državu ili svoj zamak ili svoju zemlju, moraš od nekoga da uzmeš nešto, ne možeš...
Da, znaš foru, a znaš kako ja oduzimam? Ja čekam kad izbiju ustanci u nekoj državi.
Da.
Onda taj ustanički grad, ja njih napadam.
I to je to.
Ne idem direktno, recimo sad, da se bijemo oko Venasovi.
A ti se muvaš oko, recimo, centralne Evrope i gledaš koju ćeš da mlatneš.
Pa ne, idem od grada do grada, završavam misijskog kampanja. Mada evo ti imam exploit, izmenio sam u konzolu. Ja sad mogu ovdje da kliknem i da prebacim sebi 2860 vojnika. Mogu da uzem sad exploit i jedan exploit. Samo si punio konzolu, ove životinje, najbolje oružje, najbolje mačeve, viši cena kod tuka tako. Sve to sebi da prebacim. Ali nije mi zanimljivo, razumno. Ugao imaš onaj šlem s Berkasu. Imaš krune. Evo. Šlem iz Berkasu. Javelin, 2 Macbeth.
13,000. Finally.
This is a goofy game.
Yes, for a goofy guy. Ali ličiš na nekog petlića, oprosti, što ti moram reći.
A ne, to ti nose ovi carevi tamo, visokog staleža.
A što ti ne mogu da nosiš turbane ili tako nešto dugo?
Ja nosim.
Ili si ti gledao kao mali, onaj, kako zove, Boj na Kosovu, pa sad misliš da svi, kako se zove, da svi kraljevi moraju da nose one velike krune. Ti znaš da su, ti znaš da su snimali sa BMW-om onu scenu kad on jaše konja u Boj na Kosovu. Ima slika.
Ovaj mi se sviđa. Humanski.
I like goofy games. I spend like a lot of hours on this game. You can play it solo or with a team. Currently I'm solo. Čekaj malo.
I play a bit of everything, yes. Mostly Genshin.
Oni su ti najskupi Nordis. Nosim nosim buzdova, nosim luk i strela i kov. Sad, ko sam uradio taj exploit, ovo mi je ostavio ovdje i sad mogu da bijem.
Oh well. Welcome. Anyway, I was about to find like movie mistake, like when they made an old Serbian movie or Yugoslavian, I don't even know, called Boj na Kosovu or whatever. It's just a movie. Well, somebody forgot to remove the BMW from the movie because apparently they didn't have like a horse or something to shoot the scene on, so they used the BMW. That's so stupid.
Jedino na taj Fire and Sword su napravili tako. Izvedeno i gradovi.
Tako kažeš? Oh my.
That sounds pretty funny.
Yep.
On Blade, Fire and Sword. Bogdan Kmenicki da zadatak, ideš uzmeš 15.000 dukata i da mu doneseš. Uzmeš onih 15.000 dukata i izađi ti kao biraj da li ćeš da ih uzmeš za sebe ili da nosiš njemu. I ako uzmeš za sebe, brate, ceo kozački hetmanat te proganja da su ti.
Pare su pare.
Pazi, kad radiš za Poljaci imaš priču, za Moskovsko carstvo imaš priču, za kozački hetmanat, a jedino za Šveđane i za krimski Tatari nemaš priču.
Misliš nisu napisali ili?
Pa nemaš nikakvi tas koji da radiš za to. Ono što je koliko dugačak. Znači, to je nenormalno dugačak i taskovi. Moram da idem.
Ozbiljno?
Više sila.
Pa hvala što si podelio to sa mnom. Igra izgleda interesantno, ali nisam toliko bogat da bih kupio stvari koje nemam vremena da igram. Možda jednog dana kad bude jeftinije, pa je uzmem, možda nađem vremena, ovako. Da je piratiziram neće. Anyway, how do you find time to watch people playing games on Twitch? That's my question. If it's not like a person that I know, you know, like somebody that I know in person, I don't usually watch streamers. I watch, you know, VODs. Like, you know, like old recordings or something about, you know, people playing games that I like.
I don't really watch people, I just sometimes hide in the chat.
Oh.
Maybe we're not gonna die
You're busted because I have a, what's it called, like announcements or something turned on. So when somebody, you know, drops into my channel, I get notified by bots, and I usually say hi, you know, not expecting anything. And you know, sometimes people say hi back, you know. But yep, if I forced you like a conversation that you didn't want to get involved, sorry. Yeah.
I am very sneaky.
Well, not for my bot. You are not. Let's see what I'm gonna štima. Igram ovaj. Deep rock. Oh no. Oh no! Lord. Opet nema nikog. Bio ovaj kasapin iz močvare.
Da, znam za koje misliš.
Pokazivao mi onaj nekakvu simulaciju da imaš, da biraš srednjovekovnu državu i da radiš kao ono plaćenik. Ja mislim da si igra iz trećeg lica, ono, bitke igraš. Kao menadžer, samo što nisi menadžer fudbalskog tima, nego si menadžer plaćeničke grupe. I ono, ideš od države do države i pomažeš im. Zato ako te privlači to da jašeš konja i da imaš strelce i ove, kako se zovu, mačevoce. Budem iskren, nemam baš vremena toliko da se s tim zajebavam, ali interesantno mi ponekad da gledam ljude koji imaju vremena to da gledaju. A lično sam... What the fuck? Friendly fire. Yeah, all good. Boom.
I'll beat your record this time. Just watch me. Look! Die!
So what you usually end up doing in this game, you're either like a digger, or a heavy gunner, or a scout. Scout is like Spider-Man or Batman, I can't decide what is. Gdje nam je Bekoni, nije valjda bolestan?
Sad se oporavio.
Oporavio se.
Can I be silly?
Please, go on. Oh, you redeemed the song or something.
JK, I am always silly 3C.
Ja već jedno 4-5 dana ništa palio nisam. Ništa.
Ništa i ne moraš da pališ. Ko te obavezuje? Možemo jednostavno da pričamo, ako ti da pričam.
Da.
Samo nemoj kao kum da uvatiš da me ispituješ, to ne volim. Možemo da pričamo o temama. Ja te pitam, Kesiću, jesi platio struju? Koliko te košta registracija?
Da. A evo, upalio handbek malo da igram, šta ću? Nisam jedno 4-5 dana beka palio ništa, pa rekao ajde malo. To ti činiš, nisi izbobašam na crku.
Please be silly. I gotta rearrange. My windows.
I go watch series, have fun, Yokes cast man.
Yo cast man. Well, thank you.
Maja.
That's it, lads. Rockin'
have
stuff.
fun.
Glad to be working with you.
Well, hello.
Ćeš odspavati 1, 2, 3 sata sad ili?
Hello and welcome. Au. Au.
Da. Tač.
Killer be killed.
Može. Gdje prelazi?
Hvala. A ko će ga znati? Počeo sam pijem ono ulje divljeg origana, ništa u životu grđe usta stavio nisam. To kao otrov da sipaš, kao otrov usta da sipaš.
Siguran da se to pije?
Pije.
Ja znam da ima čaj od toga.
Ne, ovo je baš ulje, unosi se oralno.
Uči užasno.
Nešto tako ogavno, znači... Možeš misli kad kapne kap toga na usnu, toliko neka ljutina, znači puca usna znači nešto nevjerojatno.
Kad pravim čaj od divljeg origana, ako ga ostavim da stoji duže od ne znam koliko minuta i onda uzmem da popijem taj čaj, nije ga moguće.
Ovo ti je baš neko ulje iz Turske, ovo je uveženo, nije ovo naš proizvod uopšte. Kao to jedino na jugu Turske uspeva kao taj divlji origana. To je baš kao najjači iz klase to od tih origana kao najjači.
Pa ja ga pijem protiv alergije.
I kao u fazonu da je najjači antibakterijski preparat, ono da kažem, baš ono top ovo. Da je dobro i ovako pit, i ako nemaš za imunitet je dobar kao. $10 ml bočica, 2000 dinara.
Where is that damn mule?
Dvije kapi ja sipam 3 puta dnevno.
Detonator! Get back! Get back!
We've got a new miner inbound.
Don't waste your ammunition! I gotta watch the overheating. Here we go! Lighting! Down and go!
I got you.
Rock solid! Not again! Whoosh! This is becoming routine. I need the mule right here, right now. I owe you one. For rock and stone! Lights up! Rock and stone forever! Rock and stone! Rock on!
Secondary objective completed. Now finish the job.
No, the flares are recharging! I ordered a resupply!
Down and go! Supply Supply pod launched. Better stand back. All objectives completed. Hit the button on the mule when you're ready, and we'll pick you up. Supply drop has been ordered and is on the way.
Here, everybody collect ammunition.
Nitro has been withdrawn, and supply pod is inbound.
Supply is here. There's up.
Suicide.
Thank you, brother. You're a rockety rockin' stone. Getting more ammo.
Grabbing ammo.
All good.
Da ti Beka činiš?
Keep it together. Drop pod is en route.
Why not?
Pa da.
Rock and stone.
More rock and stone. Yeah, rock and stone. Rock and stone.
Getting supplies.
Let there be light.
Drop pod has arrived. Retrieving the mule.
So long, sucker.
Drop pod departing in T-minus 5 minutes.
Stay close. Light. What? I ain't gonna tell you again. Taste the pickaxe! Sucking up the foam. Slip walk is history.
The mule has docked. Initiating launch sequence. Drop pod departing in T-minus 4 minutes.
Let's rock and roll and
Good
stone.
work. We'll bring you back in.
Yeah, you leave no dwarf behind.
Ma koje vitamina? Ja imam problem s bakterijom, ne možeš tu vitamini ništa mi pomogu.
Vitamini? Pojma.
Ma to sam uzeo, to mi je stiglo. Oko 600 dinara, 700. Ma da, ali...
Sure they wouldn't be training him to kill. In a cave we find Joshua Graham, but before we could get to him, we gotta talk to his girlfriend first.
Joshua in high place of cave. You show respect, Utman. Joshua is greatest warrior. You show him no respect. He show you thunder and fire.
Oh, Fire and Thunder, huh? That sounds like a hair metal album. I definitely don't want no part of that.
Ha ha.
Ne, ovo je u prahu
Funny,
Ashwagan.
Auslander. Maybe soon dead, Auslander.
Get the fuck out of here.
So Joshua Graham is the mummy man sitting here loading guns.
Yoink.
He's pretty well dressed too for a guy that's been sitting in a cave for the last few years picking at his scabs. He even got them rattlesnake boots, boy. This is the guy, the highlight, the star of the show.
We should have given you a better welcome on your first visit to Zion. But from what I hear, the Whitelegs beat us to it. Whitelegs seem to be the only visitors we have these days. And I wouldn't have expected anyone from the Mojave to come looking for us.
No? You can't think of anyone who wants your ass?
And you're a courier, no less. Not the one I was expecting, but I suppose he wouldn't have come with a caravan. I don't know if you were close to the other members of your group, but you have my sympathy. I pray for the safety of all good people who come to Zion, even Gentiles. But we can't expect God to do all the work.
See, Joshua's one of these annoying guys now who's always banging on about God, even though you remember a time when this dude used to blow yayo into a hooker's butthole. It always feels like a waste of a dude when a guy gives up being awesome to be a man of faith. So, we find out that the reason he wasn't there to greet the caravan is that a bunch of raiders called the White Legs, a subsidiary of the 80s group, has taken over and razed New Canaan to the ground. Killed every man, woman, and child just like God commanded, and as a result, this God-fearing Canaanite right here has some plans. He's gonna go eye for an eye on these frickin' guys, but before he could do that, he needs to send you out to fetch some items from some taboo places. Why are these places taboo? Well, that's not really explained. The caves of the survivalist are actually explained better in that they don't go into those caves because they believe that the survivalist is some kind of godlike figure who gave up his son for their sins. Yeah, this DLC is full of shit like that. The tribals misunderstood the Bible that Daniel, a character we meet later, has taught them, and they're out there breaking a commandment, worshiping a false idol, no matter how badass he might be. But that brings us to the question, why are these White Legs out here committing all these war crimes?
Caesar, of course. The White Legs want to join the Legion. Caesar's rite of passage is the destruction of the New Canaanites, almost assuredly because of me. The good news is that we can help you find your way back. Daniel, one of the other New Canaanites, has made many maps of the region. The bad news is that we can't help you right now. Not with everything that's going on. You're a good neighbor to us. We all go through periods of darkness. In such times, we can turn to the Lord. But it's good to have friends.
This DLC is full of great little bits of dialogue like this, and I basically love everything about this character because the redemptive arc that he's supposed to go through has already happened. So that leaves us with another arc. The only way from here is down. Joshua has to fall in order for any of this to mean anything. We can learn more about Joshua by talking to Follows Chalk.
He's been the chief of our tribe since he came back to the valley. He went off to the civilized world years ago to fight a war. That didn't go well. I don't know. He doesn't talk about it much. Maybe. But how can two civilized tribes fight over something as small as a dam?
You'd be surprised what we be getting up to, my man. Fighting about vaccines, fighting about truth, reality, whether it's not cool for people to starve, which, you know, obviously rad as fuck. But a dam, yeah, we'll fight over that shit. Hell, pretty soon in our timeline, California's gonna be at war with Colorado if we keep going this way.
Now you sound like Joshua. He always tells me that tribal life is better. That I should stay here and forget the outside world.
Yeah, I've been out in the outside world, man. It's probably not a bad idea.
If it wasn't for Joshua, the dead horses would still be the whipping boys of the Zion Valley. He taught us how to hold our territory, to protect ourselves. He guided us away from Caesar, and showed us how Caesar would have destroyed us. Only a little. I was very young. He was different. Prouder, yes, but harder, crueler, more driven. Really, I was terrified of him. We all were. When he came back, I almost didn't believe he was the same man. He was humbler. He wanted to protect, not destroy.
Now, it's important to note that people are saying this about him, because like I said before, he's already had his redemptive arc. This is important to keep in mind when we get to the ending, or at least one of the 3 or 4 different endings you can get. So we go out and do his fetch quest, starting with the looting of the mass grave of Boy Scout bus for a compass, a doctor's bag, and some walkie-talkies, and we delivered them to Daniel.
The dead horse has told me details about the attack on your caravan. A stranger's sympathy might not count for much, but for what it's worth, I'm sorry. The Sorrows will mourn your friends too. They mourn everyone, even the White Legs. They have sensitive souls. Innocent, if there is such a thing. In spite of what's happened, I hope that Joshua and I can help you out of here. But to be frank, we need your help too. Well, I'll be. I was starting to lose hope we'd be able to get any of this, much less all of it. Tribals are smart, but, well, they're ignorant.
Hey, whoa, what are you trying to do, man? Get me demonetized?
So shut the fuck up, Papa.
Letting go of a taboo is difficult for them. So I knew it would have to be one of us. Turns out all it took was a Gentile, or, no offense. These supplies are a godsend. But if we're going to evacuate Zion without drawing more white leg attention, I need you to go back into the valley. Specifically, I need you to scout out some locations for white legs and try to recover a map of Grand Staircase, a wilderness area to the east.
Daniel wants us to go find a map so we can evacuate the rest of the residents of the valley, but Joshua has a different opinion on the situation, and he came all the way here just to tell you about it.
By the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down. Yea, we wept, when we remembered Zion. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it even to the foundation. O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed, happy shall he be, that rewardeth thee as thou hast served us. Happy shall he be, that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones. Do you know what it means?
Well, it sounds like your God is the kind of edgy teen you put on a fucking shooter watch list, you know what I mean? Definitely the kind of guy you don't want watching your kids, you know what I mean? God be like, oh, I'm so sorry, you don't understand. It was an accident, I swear. You see, I was drowning your kids and then I accidentally smashed their heads in with a hammer.
Given those two choices, yes. In the best of all possible worlds, they would just leave us in peace. But they won't. I don't enjoy killing. But when done righteously, it's just a chore, like any other.
Yeah, you know, like painting a house.
Practiced hands make for short work. And the good Lord knows there's much to be done here. They're still God's children. But if they turn against their brothers and sisters, won't listen to reason, if they pollute the Lord's temples on earth, like Zion, who are we to stand by and let them continue?
But Daniel and Joshua don't see eye to eye on this particular issue, and Joshua wants us to help him convince Daniel to let the Sorrows fight to keep their land.
Daniel does not yet see things the way we do. He is the John to our Matthew and Mark. When you have a moment, speak with him.
There's an old saying that goes, if you want peace, get ready for war. You've got me figured half right. I'll shoot dead any white leg that tries to creep into this camp. It's only to protect the Sorrows. The Lord helps those who help themselves. But the Sorrows don't know how. Joshua and I do. Since I got them into this mess, I need to get them out.
This Daniel guy is what we like to charitably call an optimist. See, he wants very much to believe that there's a way to escape the White Legs, but they're not after the land he's so quick to give up. They want their blood so they can join Caesar's legion. No less than complete annihilation will suffice. So no matter how far they run, the White Legs will follow them. So I'm with the Invisible Man over here. These bastards gotta die. So we travel across the land, killing White Legs, tearing down their temples, so to speak, one totem at a time. And believe it or not, after just 4 incredibly short missions later, we've come to the end of the DLC. But Daniel never really convinces Paulie that there's more at stake. It seems like first impressions are usually the most right in this case.
No. Why? Why? Haven't you seen enough of what's going on here to see that the Sorrows don't need to butcher the White Legs for a piece of land?
No, dumbass, I haven't. This isn't over a piece of land, so unless you want to sell Joshua to the White Legs, I don't think you understand what you're asking for, dude.
So shut the fuck up, Papa.
What Joshua wants is more than an attack. He wants a slaughter. And he needs more than you and the dead horses to do it. The Sorrows can't be pushed into this. You and Joshua don't have the right to force them into it. Please, consider what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, consider this. Did you ever ask the Sorrows what they want? Or are you just doing exactly what you're accusing us of? Forcing them to abandon their home so your conscience can rest easy at night?
I've already explained to them that we're leaving. They've accepted it. What is Joshua going to tell them about being a warrior? What are you going to tell them about how to live with themselves after they got lost in the moment, killed someone who didn't deserve to die? Or does that not matter? Is that just an acceptable consequence if it means holding on to this valley?
Honestly, yeah it is. Why? because this is where the game fumbles the ball. This is where all this buildup results in one big old wet fart that leaves nothing but a little residue in your underwear. You don't feel the impact of the final moments of this game because they come far too soon and seem to come from out of nowhere.
Stand by. Cleansing pod is on its way.
My reader eliminated.
So what happens is, you fight through the river and into the Whitelegs camp. Inside you find more Whitelegs to kill, then an explosion happens that blocks your way. Joshua leaves for some reason, and you head in the only direction available to you now, and somehow Joshua beats you there.
We warned you in Syracuse, and you persisted. You took advantage of us in New Canaan to drive us out. And like the dogs of Caesar you are,
Supplies are on the way.
And now you stand on holy ground, a temple to God's glory.
Found you, you greasy meat. Pod is here. Everybody connect up.
Now I swear to God I didn't cut this up. That is how it happens. You enter a trigger and suddenly the gang is rounded up and executed. You could stop Joshua from killing everyone, or you could choose to fight the last guy in a 1v3, but it doesn't really matter because it's so jarring and there's no way to stop Josh.
Found a helmet. Coordinates transferred to the terrain scanner. Let's locate the rest of the equipment. Foaming up the area. From A to D, skip it B and C. Sucking up the foam.
Well done, team. All contagion spikes eradicated. We're showing no further sign of rockpox in the cave.
Aye, the rockpox is getting into my suit. I ordered a resupply.
Supply pod launched. Better stand back.
I love this grappling hook. The resupply is here. Them flares could need an upgrade. Help!
Ammo taken.
Mineral water here! It's overheated! No! They stop! No! It's overheated! Rock and roll! Rock and stone in the heart! Come on, guys! Rock and stone! I'm out of here! I called for volley. Rock on! Ew, never felt better. Resupply ordered.
Supply drop has been ordered and is on the way.
Anyone need
There's nitro here.
Booyah! Resupply arrived. Go restock. Need some free space. We rock! Molly, over here. Time to deposit. Can't carry it. Face the picker! Inventory is full. Feel like I clipped stuff in every single crevice. Donkey, come here! Booyah! Rock and stone!
Here we go.
Making a deposit!
Well done.